Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford, and it's the post-match victory over Livingston podcast. And joining myself, Ryan, is John. John, well, obviously, it's another very positive podcast. Obviously, going into the game, and there was a lot of no negativity, but a lot of maybe other Scottish clubs wanting Celtic to drop points. The media were all against Celtic. No one here in a long time. And I think the team shut a few people up with that result today.
Aye, I think the media were banging the drum and trying to get everybody a bit apprehensive about going to play in that shitey Arsha tough again. But it worked out well today, didn't it?
As you mentioned, obviously at the game myself today, the Astro, it might look bad on TV, but it's ridiculous when you watch a game. I'm not looking forward to if Kamal come back up next year because it's another difficult venue, a difficult park to play on.
It should be banned. I don't care what all the pros say. To be fair, they all say it's good for training on and whatever, but it's not real. You look at every other top league in Europe, they wouldn't have it. They don't have it. It's as simple as that. I don't think it's allowed down south, isn't it? No, the top four divisions. I think it's banned.
You're probably right, aye.
Me personally, I don't think it's right that the top division should have teams. We had three, hadn't we? We've had three: Kilmarnock, Hamilton, and Livingston in the same year for a few years. It's horrific to play on for the pros. I think the way the ball bounces, etc. The wee black balls always gets in somebody's eyes, I know, don't they? You always see somebody standing down, wiping their eyes, getting all the wee black balls at their mouth.
Aye, it's not the best parks they play on, especially at this level, I would say. But obviously at the start of the match, there was a few kind of eye rollers about the team sheet. Most people thought Jack Kamakis would have played. There was actually a few guys saying maybe Janovic to left back, Ralston right back. So obviously Taylor hasn't really been performing. But I'll give you Taylor his due today. He was busting a gut to get past Jota. Still passing the ball back and going backwards, but there was the effort was there and the intent was there, and it was better than it has been the last 2 or 3 weeks for him. And I thought the full team is better today. I thought the team is better, but I still don't think we came out of second or third gear. I just think it was a professional performance. A lot of shots at goal, possession, corners, kind of what we've been used to the last kind of few months. And I think 3-1 maybe flatters Livingston because I thought it could be more than that.
Aye, start off Taylor. No, you're not his biggest fan, but see, at the end of the day, he's a defender, isn't he? And the day was very comfortable defending. I think he gets a bit of negativity with his forward play. He's not got the power and strength to go by people. Can he take men on? He always turns back or goes square. He can't get by that fullback in the other team. But today, defensively, was sound. And to me, that you can't ask for any more than that, Ryan.
Especially when you're trying to win leagues. Obviously, the defence is a massive part of it, but I just thought the other week against, I think it was Dundee, it was very laboured, especially St Mirren as well. Sorry, I just thought it laboured and no way to go forward and go by a man. And at least today he was actually going by men in a way. He was busting his balls to get past Jota. So Maeda again talking points with a few fans. Well, no, he's really doing too well at the moment as he's settling in. Obviously, he's him and Hatate. They kind of look like guys that have played 40 all game this year already by the other team. But Mo Maeda, again, he got his goal. His movement was very good for the goal when he was there. He took the goal in. But I like to touch on his first touch. I think his touch is, for me, a guy to make it at Celtic. I know he does a lot of work outside, scoring goals, and he chases guys down, does the donkey work. But if you're going to have a touch like that, you need to be doing the donkey work, because at Celtic, if you want to be in the focal point, you need to have the ball to stick, and the ball's got to stick to other players. And for me, he was better today, but I still think he's got to do a bit more if he's want to be here. In my opinion, anyway, is i.e. number 9.
Aye, but I don't know if he's going to be your number 9 goal scorer. That's mere Kyogo for me personally, but he works his socks off, doesn't he? He does. He's everywhere. He's plenty of energy, but I just think he's got to do better. Just got to do a wee bit better, and I reckon he'll score more goals. He'll be linking up better. As you said as well, the guys have played a lot of football the last year. They've not had a break. They've came here. So hopefully they get a break in the summer, and hopefully they don't go to the World Cup next year as well and get a further break again. Or they'll not get a break. We're going to Australia. That's right, isn't we?
I can even talk about that, John, as you mentioned it. We spoke about it the last previous pod. That for me, it's an absolute scandalous decision. It's just money over everything else, and I think football is just going to be like that for the foreseeable future. It's going to be commercialised.
I'm afraid I think that's the way it's going to be, especially Scottish teams. Just the lack of finance is going to propel it forward, I think, in the next coming years. If it's no Australia, it might be America, it might be the Far East. It's just a sign of things to come, I think. As well as like expanding that the European Super League is just another version of the Champions League. It's just the big teams getting greedier and greedier, and they're going to pull away. And what's going to happen to the smaller sides? What are they going to be left with? Celtic might be one of these smaller sides, Ryan, because we're not very great at qualifying for the big things, are we?
No, well, not in the last few years anyway.
But in saying that, if the coefficient, it has been getting better, with a wee bit of help for the team for across the water. The rest of them are hopeless in Europe. Aberdeen, Dundee United, Motherwell, Hearts, Hibs, etc. Absolutely rank rotten in Europe. Celtic's kept Scottish football afloat in Europe in the last 15 years or so. They need these other teams to get some more coefficient points, and maybe then Celtic will qualify. As hopefully they do. If we win the league this year, we'll be right into the Champions League, because it's financially it's a must for Celtic. It might stop you from selling maybe one of your better players. But as you know yourself, these better players want to go down south at the end of the day, don't they?
Most of the time these days, that's where obviously the talent is and the money is. But obviously for me, another decision I thought the manager done well today was, as much as I think Janovic is probably the best right back in Scotland, I thought Ralston was good today. A bit of dig about the park and his tackles, and I just thought his all-round play was good today. And I know before obviously this season started, it was a bit of I think a bit part players maybe been too kind to him in that sense, but I think he's been very, very good this year, and I think he's very. I don't think when it comes to the right back situation, I think with him and Janovic, you're just about sorted there, because I don't think they two really do much wrong.
No, you've got plenty of cover there, haven't you? If one's injured, the other one can step in. Nothing changes. I couldn't believe it when Ralston got a new contract, because I didn't think he had a future at Celtic. But to be fair, he's knuckled down. He looks as if he's maybe got a lot fitter as well. He looks as, when he was there previously, he looks as if he was born a wee bit, maybe a bit heavy, whatever. He's definitely got a lot fitter. And that comes with playing as well. He's had a lot of minutes this season. And to be fair, I think he's done brilliant. But for me, Juranovic is still your number one right back, and he's absolute quality. They've got different attributes. But for me, it's Juranovic all day long. But in saying that, you've got to have a load of different players for competition, haven't you? And as I said, the only place we've not got that's goalkeeping in it. You've got competition everywhere apart from the goalkeeper.
To be fair, I thought Joe Hart made 2 or 3 good saves today as well. Again, for me, even when you see Joe Hart, he's a big man now, and you can tell he's played at a high level, because he's got the physique of a high level goalkeeper. And for me, again, on the goalkeeper situation, Barkas looks like he's even going to get in the team at all anymore, so he looks like out the window. I know the young boys on the bench a few times, Ollie Amy. Also Scott Bain, still don't know why he got a new deal. I understand he might be good in the changing room, he might be good with young kids and etc. etc. But for me, a second choice goalkeeper, obviously nobody's going to be happy no playing because if Joe Hart's going to be playing, but you should be, in my opinion, a Celtic second goalkeeper should be a standard just below the first choice to keep him on his toes, competition, no just turning up, training and just being there in case a guy gets injured. You've got to be personally pushing that guy every week, and I can't see Scott Bain pushing the Hart at all.
See, at the end of the day, Ryan, goalkeepers are there to make saves, and Joe Hart makes saves, didn't he? Listen, we know he's got the mistake in him with kicking the ball about, passing the ball about the back four, but he was bought to make saves, and he has made saves. Most saves you expect him to make, he makes them. Whereas Barkas last year was throwing them in the back of the net, or Bain, or Hazard.
Aye, and that's an understatement about throwing the back of the net. Again, but obviously we're talking about Juranovic. McGregor obviously missed a penalty because obviously Juranovic wasn't in the lineup. I wasn't confident when he stepped up. I just had that feel about that he was going to miss it. For me, obviously Juranovic has been a penalty taker, but for me, a striker or a winger or an attacking player surely should be taking the strikers, taking the penalty. Sorry, I know the other mob have Tavernier at right back and he takes the penalties, but
but he gets plenty of practice to get one every week.
That's true. I'm not surprised I didn't get mine yesterday. The penalty bingo wasn't in play yesterday.
No, the red card for Aberdeen either. They're a surprise.
The penalty bingo wasn't in play, but the missing foul, and then they didn't want VAR yesterday, did they? I mean, it's VAR when they want VAR. But
back to the football.
Aye, back to the football. But I just, it was a poor penalty. I know he's hit the post, but for me, if your penalty taker who isn't on the park isn't there to take it, then surely for me it should be an attacking player. I think attacking player should be the guy taking the set pieces, i.e. corners and free kicks and penalties.
I hate it when players all celebrate when they win a penalty. Celebrate when you score it. I hate that. All jumping about mad. I've got a penalty. Wait till the boys in the back of the net, you can celebrate. And then, as you say, anytime Celtic get a penalty, that's 4 out of 10 they've missed this season. It's not good enough. So Giacomakis missed a one against Livingston. He gave 3 points for it. It was end up a draw. If you score that, you're a few points ahead again. But listen, some you win, some you lose. But you've got to do better with them. I wouldn't know who would take it, Ryan, to be honest with you. Beaton's had a shot and missed, didn't he? Forrest has had shots and missed. Maybe Jota's your man. I don't know.
And obviously on Jota, a few fans are saying that he's not really been playing well, but the thing about Jota is as soon as he gets that ball, he's just direct to the fullback, and fullbacks can't handle that. They don't like getting turned on, they don't like pace, they don't like trickery. And I thought I know he might have not done too much in end product, but like I says, I don't mind players trying things and making mistakes, but he was trying cross balls, and that's what I'm saying about Maeda. If Maeda's going to be the focal point up front, he's got to stay in the box. There was a point where he was out left mid, and I'm like the guy next to me, get in the fucking box. You're a striker, why are you left mid? For me, that's why either if Giacomakis is going to be playing, Jota is probably going to get the fruits of that because he's going to have a focal point to hit the ball. But for me, Maeda, if he's going to be in the box and Jota and Abada or Forrest are thrown in these corners or crosses into the box, he's not always there. He seems to me he just floats about the full penalty box. He doesn't. I think again, I'm not going to tell this guy how to play football. He's playing with Celtic. He's a professional football player, but I think he's just got to game manage when he runs and when he stays. When you look at Giacomakis, sometimes he stays in the box and he just makes a wee movement and he gets a goal. I don't know if that's maybe something Maeda's got to do, but I think he's got to learn when to run and when to just stay still and observe the game.
Regarding Jota, they've obviously got instructions and they've got to be disciplined to follow the instructions, but you always hear managers saying go and express yourself, and that's what Jota does, doesn't he? He does express himself, looks as if he's really enjoying himself every time. He gets a wee bit frustrated with himself as well, and things don't come after him. But see, as long as he keeps running at defenders, I'm happy, because your man Jamesy Forrest days of running at defenders are finished. Yes, he had a great game a day. Well, not saying he had a great game, better than what he has been playing.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't seem to have the confidence, ability, fitness, strength, whatever it is, to go by fullbacks anymore, and he just cuts inside. And I think, maybe we've spoken about before, I think it's going to be hard for James Forrest to feature in a team. Hopefully I'm right, because he's been absolutely brilliant for Celtic for many, many years, and his stats, as you keep saying, are so impressive. But I would just like to see him express himself. See if he can't get by the fullback, have a go at trying. Then you can accept him trying it and expressing himself. But to just turn back all the time is so negative for me, because it's unfair on Jota. I think everybody, as soon as Jota gets the ball, everybody's up after seat, isn't they? Run at him. He can't do it all himself. He needs help for our side of the park.
I like I've said in the previous pod with Deck as well, that I understand Forrest has had injuries and he might not be fully fit and the confidence might be low through his injuries and maybe no playing, start playing. But if you're on the bench or if you're playing, according to the manager, you're fit. So if you're not performing, then there's something not right. Is it confidence? Is it maybe the way we are trying to play now? It's just not the James Forrest that can play in this anymore. I know, like he says, I thought he did play well today. He played better than he's been, but still sometimes tentative to take guys on. He was cutting inside, playing a simple pass, and again he took his goal well. But like I was saying on social media, to Twitter and Facebook and stuff to guys today, that just because, again, I'm not talking about the full Celtic support, but for me, some Celtic fans are a bit fickle. They think because a guy has one or two games that when it's opposition players, you've got to sign him. He's played 2 games, relegated, sign him. Guys who come in and play one good game, or he's back, that's him performing again. At Celtic, you need to do that every single week. But I know you can't play well. Listen, John, you played football all your days, you coach amateur teams. You can't play well every game, but every game you need to try, you need to bust your balls every game. And for me, sometimes Forrest, it just looks like maybe it's just not ready anymore. But again, I'm hoping that this is a game for the rest of the season that kick-starts the season, and he can maybe say to a few years like Ralston, I've proved you wrong.
I hope it's a springboard from to go into better things and get yet another league winners medal. He's got plenty, hasn't he?
Well, as you mentioned about league winners medals, there's a few obviously in previous weeks saying that Celtic have not got winners and Celtic have not got the winning mentality and all that blah blah blah. But we've mentioned guys like Forrest, Beaton, Hart, McGregor, guys. Ralston, he's won titles. Sorry. Guys, Tumble's won cups, and he's won cup with Celtic. So this squad's just won a League Cup. So how can you say that the squad's no winners? They've just won a trophy about 3 months ago. So how can you say that this squad hasn't got the winning mentality? But again, John, it's the media pressure that no matter what Celtic do, they never get the credit. Even when you win quadruple trebles, it was all because Rangers won it. It's just you can't win.
You know what it'll be like tomorrow. Celtic scraped by Livi. Usual shite for the media. But many games is that.
29 games domestically unbeaten.
29 unbeaten. Can you whack it, can you?
And that's you coming back to basically selling most of your key players and a big mate, a rival. So to say you can't obviously when we're doing podcasts or you're looking at the games, you can only look at a game as it is, and if they play bad, you criticise. If they play well, then obviously you praise them. But I think sometimes the media, obviously, like you says, it'll be Celtic Celtic penalty or something. It'll be something against the referee that will be biased. And I actually seen that today after the game. The Daily Record says what 3 or 4 contentious things against Celtic in the report, and I'm thinking, can you not just give Celtic the benefit, the doubt that they had about 500 odd passes in the game. Livi had 200 odd. They had, I think it was 70 odd % possession or something like that. They had 8 or 9 corners. They had 24 shots. Everything was in Celtic's favour. So why not just say Celtic were a better team, currently their own form, they're the best team in Scotland. Just say, well done, took the 3 points and move on. But they won't do that because they want to have this agenda against Celtic. Let's be fair. People might say it's not an agenda. By the headlines, it fucking is. Let's be fair.
At the end of the day, it was a deserved victory. It was very comfortable. For me, the only disappointing thing was losing a goal. It should have been a clean sheet performance. Starfelt and Carter Vickers at the back, absolutely solid, aren't they? They're making less and less mistakes. The two of them look more comfortable playing the style that Ange wants them to play. I've seen an interview with Vickers, I think it was Select TV, I think, and he says, my starting position's at the halfway line now. Whereas when I played down south, I'm away back. He says, I'm starting. I'm starting moves. I'm getting so much touches of the ball. His games, he's had to learn to play this style as well. Starfelt, for me, was a bomb scare. Let's be fair, at the start of the season, I don't care about, he's came from our country, blah, blah, blah. He didn't look very comfortable here at all, but by all accounts, he's turned it around as well, hasn't he? He's playing well most weeks. For me, they've formed a really good partnership. The goals against column tells you that. They're not conceding many goals. That was a disappointing thing today. Not to get a clean sheet.
Aye, Starfelt, I thought was absolutely superb today. Everything he done was basically perfect. I think, obviously, he wouldn't get a 10 in the paper, but he should get a 10. For me, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. As he says, at the time when he first came in, he was a bit shaky, but I think when you look at him now, you can maybe see why Ange did bring him in.
Aye, much was he?
4.5, I think, roughly.
It's a lot of money for Celtic to spend on somebody and not to be a success. But gradually, I've grown to like him a lot more as the season's gone. As you said, he's cut out a lot of mistakes. He's getting more comfortable on the ball. But for me, he's probably got the worst technique of striking a ball I've ever seen a professional football player. Didn't he? It's unbelievable how bad it is. But he's doing really well at the moment. And I hope they sign Vickers and keep partnerships. I've spoken about that before. It's very important for players to have partnerships. I don't think it's not right if you're. But last season as well, centre half position was a major issue, wasn't it? There wasn't a partnership there. But to be fair, it's been they two most of the season, hasn't it? Probably 90% of the season. And it's probably bearing fruit now that they've had so many clean sheets. So it's all positive for Starfelt at the moment.
And obviously, I pulled out the the Sun, right? The ratings for Celtic today, right? Take away the result, and we didn't know what the result was, right? Joe Hart got a 6. Bear in mind, he made 2 or 3 goal-saving chances. Ralston got a 6. Vickers got a 7. Starfelt got a 6. Taylor got a 7. McGregor got a 7. Beaton got a 6, I thought was excellent. Forrest got a 7. Rogic, again, I thought was good, got a 6. Jota got a 8, and Maeda got a 6. You wouldn't think Celtic won that game 3-1.
Nah.
Starfelt got a 6. He was the best player in the park. But yet there's no a slight bias towards Celtic. That's ridiculous. How they can print that for me, John? It's making out the Celtic again are scraped by. They've got 2 or 3 lucky goals, and they were absolutely brilliant today. For what they have been like.
So people that's not seen the game will read that and go, I told you that Starfelt was shite, you know.
But if you actually look at his performance, he was basically perfect today.
Aye. Don't bother about it. Don't let that annoy you.
It doesn't annoy me. I just want to put it out there because some people I just think, maybe look at that and go, that's fine. But I think that stuff has to get put out because it's not right. When your team's
That's a witch hunt, kind of, isn't it?
Aye, you're 3 points ahead, maybe 4 if you include the goal difference, because it's 11 goals.
11 goals,
yeah. Aye. The team across the water is it a 6 or 9 point swing they've lost. Celtic play well, it's all negative. But again, for me, it suits me because when you win the league, you can just basically shove 2 finals up and say, right, that's us back to obviously winning trophy again. So, but I do think as well on Jota, John. I don't want to fall in love with a guy because he's only on loan and these things can change very quick. But the guy for me is, if you want to talk about wingers, I don't know who we've had recently that you can say is that type of player. Maybe Aidan McGeady. Just as soon as a guy gets on the ball, it's just bums off the seats. He's very, very good, and I know maybe sometimes his end product's got to be better, but he's putting balls in the box, but nobody's yet to gamble at the back post. There's nobody there, but I think that's the way it's going to be because Abada or Forrest, whoever's out wide, they're always dead wide. They don't always go inside, so that's maybe why who I think personally, if Kyogo's no playing, I know my header's done well, but for me, I think Giakoumakis gives you more, but they're 2 different strikers. But I think the only thing about Giakoumakis, I think you mentioned it today after the game, that when he doesn't start, he comes on and looks very frustrated with himself when he makes mistakes and stuff. But I think even when he came on, I thought he gave us a spark and very, very strong. One of the first things he done when he came on, held the ball and drew a foul. Something Kyogo might not do, something Maeda won't do. It's just a total different option. And personally, it's a guy I think will do well for Celtic.
As I said to you earlier on, he does look frustrated when he comes on. He commits a few fouls as well when he comes on, probably due to his frustration. He's wanting to start the games. He's top scorer in Holland last year, absolutely flying, full of confidence. I like him myself. I think he's done well since he's come in and he's had a bit more game time. But I think he's definitely a vital part of the team. I would have had him up top today instead of Maeda. Livingston, horrible. But I think that's the first. Was it 5-6 games we've not beat them there, whatever, over the space of 15 years or something, whatever. But it was so comfortable today, and never felt in any danger whatsoever. And the great thing was seeing the quality of the subs coming on was fantastic, wasn't
it? Like you say, and they're still got Kyogo and Turnbull. You have guys like Julian in the squad, Scales. I don't know if Scales on the bench. No, he wasn't. Scales in the squad. It just shows you that it just shows you the competition that we've got in certain. Basically, apart from maybe the goalkeeping the left back, you've got a lot of competition for guys who can come in and play.
Aye, and to be fair, most of them are getting a bit of game time, aren't they? He's rotating that a wee bit. Gucci's limited game time, isn't he? Mm-hmm. He's maybe one I would say would maybe need some more game time, but it's difficult to get in that side, isn't it? As you said, Turnbull had played, was it 50 games in a row or something?
He was very, very solid.
Something like that, and it's going to be. I think you've said it's going to be difficult for him to get into that team if they keep playing as well as they are. He does change the midfield a wee bit, though, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. McGregor's normally there every week. Rogic, Beaton, O'Reilly, McCarthy's. He was on the bench today, but his time's been limited as well for whatever reason, and got a 4-year deal, which we all thought was strange at the time.
I think for me, John, McCarthy, you'll probably see the best. If McCarthy still got the best in him, it might be next year. Because again, he only played 18 games or so last year. It's been stop start this year, a few injuries and not really playing. So for me, maybe next year might be where he's back to maybe his best, but we don't know. But as you mentioned, even though he's not really played, for me, I still think McCarthy's got a part to play if he's to come on, because at the end of the day, you've signed a guy who was playing in the top 12 or something of the Premier League last year. So it's not like you're signing a guy who's just came from anywhere. So as you mentioned, you've got that's another guy who's played international experience, I think 70 odd caps or something like that, or over whatever caps for Ireland. I don't know if that's the right number actually, but he's had a lot of caps anyway for Ireland, and just shows your experience on the bench as well. You've got Janovic, Croatia's right back, didn't he go on today? It just shows you that the squad dance has built is in a relatively small time. Some other managers just shows you. I didn't know Brendan Rodgers could have done it that quick when he took over us. It took him a year or two to get into full swing.
Aye, there's been maybe a bit poor comments the last maybe 3 or 4 games saying we're no get that wee zip about us, it's a bit flat, maybe scraping victories. See, at this stage of the season, it doesn't matter. It's all about getting the 3 points. That's the only thing that matters. I don't care about playing well for now at the end of the season. As long as you get the 3 points and win. There's 8 games left, 2 games against the other mob.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident. At the start of the season, I wasn't confident whatsoever because of the state we were in last year. The other mob had a fantastic season, undefeated last year, fair play to them. But it's been some turnaround. If we don't win the league, I would still be happy this season, to be honest with you, because it is a roller coaster, isn't it? Mm-hmm. They are good to watch. They have cut out the silly mistakes at the back, as their defensive record tells you, the goals against column. But I can see it only getting better, Ryan, to be honest with you.
Aye, it's for me. I think it's just it's a directness to the team as well. So even though I thought Tom was really good today, to be fair, against the 2 games, the game against Bodo, I thought it was very, very poor. But I thought today was good. I think it was a good decision for the manager to play him because he did calm the game down and settles down. And I thought Rogic, I know people might not say he played well, but it's the wee things Rogic does. He gets his arse in front. It's just some of the wee touches he does. For me, he's a special player, but he's a bit of what I would call a luxury player. There's certain games you play him and certain games you don't, i.e. games away in Europe, he might not be the guy for you. At home ties, aye, but maybe no away. But we all know against Rangers, he's always a threat. But I just thought for me, it's just the full team today was good. It might not have been an outstanding performance on the eye, but if you look at individually in the stats and everything else, you can't really argue with anything. I know the only thing you can maybe argue with was obviously conceding a goal, which was very poor, I thought. But obviously the media's going to put out that it was a contentious penalty, a contentious corner, this and that. But they're not forgetting the chances that Celtic missed that could have been more than 3. But obviously, as you know yourself, they're just going to put it onto the decisions that they didn't get, and then they're going to shout for VAR, and it's just going to be, like you say, it's going to be a witch hunt to Celtic probably at the end of the season until they see what happens.
See, at the end of the day, Ryan, that was a comprehensive victory today. It's the best I've seen Celtic playing at Livingston for years, and I still think, as you said, it's a couple more gears to go up as well. But as you know yourself, that surface, and you've always said it is a major thing there. That's why they're so strong at home, the teams.
For me, it's maybe the only reason they're that strong, because I know Livingston done well at Celtic Park to the start of the season, but again, it was met today with Celtic not being able to put chances away. No really Livingston doing much. I just think I don't want to say that these players have not got ability or they're not good enough, but I understand you've got to work as a team and you've got to do certain ways to get points, i.e. defend and whatever else. But it's just so anti-football when teams play like that. And sometimes, for me, if I was a fan of that, watching that, it must be hard to watch that every week, because you're paying maybe 25, 30 quid just to watch guys defend for 90 minutes. It must be hard to watch.
Aye. But Celtic fans are getting their money's worth, Ryan, because they're going out and expressing themselves. And they're going forward. He just wants to score, looks as if he wants to score more goals in other team. Great to watch. You're going to get wee bumps in the road, aren't you? You can't win every game. You don't win. Nobody wins every game. But as long as you get your hands on that trophy at the end of the season, I don't think it matters how you're going to get there.
And obviously Monday's the next game, so they've got about a week to go roughly. I'd like to imagine they'd had 2 or 3 days off. Obviously, I don't know if there's still all this COVID carry on and where you can travel to and stuff, but I like to think maybe the players can maybe go away for 2 days, 3 days away in the sun. I don't know if that's what Ange would do, but even away, down to Ayr or something, I don't know, away somewhere to get a rest, because some of these players do need 2 or 3 days, I would say, just to totally no training and just switch off, because they shouldn't need to train this time of year. They've been playing maybe Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, so they shouldn't really need to train too hard now to the end of the season.
I'd tell Tom Rodgick's got a caravan at Seaton Sands. Tenerife, in it, that's where they'll be going. I think you're right. See, if you've not got a game for 8 days, 2 or 3 days isn't going to, their fitness isn't going to drop for in that space of time or whatever. Players, they deserve a break, but he does. The sounds yet the reports are he does work them really hard, and I know it's all that sports science. I know in it. He's close to breaking point. You need to watch what you're doing, but they do need a break. They do need a wee breather if you can give them it, because the pressure is going to start growing now with every game. Unfortunately, we've not got any European football to contend with to the end of the season, but 8 big games and hopefully a good Scottish Cup run to win that as well and win a treble, which would be unbelievable. And I'm expecting it now, to be honest, after seeing the way that Celtic's been playing recently and the way that other team haven't been playing. It's all positive, isn't it?
It's all positive for the fans and for obviously most teams in Scottish football. They're seeing some of these players play at their grounds, but we all know the media are going to turn it around to be Celtic or straight by and Celtic this, the referee didn't do this, and get VAR, and it's going to be the topic of conversation until Celtic don't win anything. But obviously the last point I'd like to mention, John, obviously the Man U derby, Man City Man U derby was on today as well, and you kind of watch the aftermath of that. You had Roy Keane, Richards, Neville, Redknapp all talking, and I think that's maybe something the Scottish media, the Scottish BT, Sky Sports, Premier Sports. I know BT. I thought BT were good when it comes to the big games, like I think it was like a 7 or 8 hour stunt they done on one of the cup finals and we're out all day. And I think that's maybe when it comes to maybe the Glasgow derbies or Celtic and Hearts or Celtic Hibs, get maybe 2 or 3 of these ex-players in to actually vent their frustrations and get maybe similar to like a podcast like this, actually talk proper football. Don't just hide behind the cameras and say what you need to say to please the media or please certain supporters. I think it's good. Like Roy Keane's sick. I'd like to think if Celtic could beat Ibrox or Rangers could beat Ibrox, Chris Boyd, whoever it is, and Andy Walker, whoever it is.
Oh, here, Chris Boyd won't say that, Ryan.
No, I know he won't, but they should be having guys on that should be. I'm obviously no swearing on Sky Sports or whatever, but it's a shambles. It's disrespectful to the fans, this and that. But I think maybe it's a book we need to take out, and maybe if it is re-judging or the way they program the games, I don't know, but it's like he says, it's always when maybe there's a bit of contentious talk, it's always right. Let's go to a break. Fuck the break. Talk. It's good. For me, that's what gets you. That's what we get the views to actually listen and watch it. Because see, after English games and the games that Man U get beat, I sit and watch it because it's good to see the guys talk about their team and they're not talking shite. They're actually passionate about their team and they want their cup to improve.
Keane and Neville are 2 Man United legends. They're absolutely sick tonight and they're giving the team pelters. That's what should be happening. Like guys like Chris Boyd hide behind the Rangers scarf and just say, giving excuses. Keane and Neville weren't offering excuses. They were just saying they're absolute shite and Man City's years ahead of them. But that's the way it should be. As you said, after an Old Firm, the Glasgow derby, get my words right there. After a Glasgow derby, you should spend over an hour with a couple of old Celtic and Rangers players discussing the game and where they are in the league and all the contentious issues and whatever. As you say, blah, 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 and we'll go to a break, and then they come back, and a quick word for Higme, and we're away to a break. It's all breaks. They don't give a fuck about Scottish football. It's only Celtic and Rangers games they're interested in. And they're absolutely shiting on us. I know what you can say is, well, just don't subscribe to Sky. But if Sky's no go to it, BT will have it. If they're no go to it, Premier Sports will have it, or Amazon, or whoever. Somebody's always you're going to have to subscribe to get to it. And the product is absolutely fucking stinking, by the way. Stinking. Product is rubbish.
Well, see, even the day, I watched that game, right, and Man City were superb, and you see when they score, they're just all clapping your hands. You see the day at the game, we've scored against Livingston, and we're all limbs, everybody's cuddling in front of the deck, and that's passion, and that's you want to see. They've all got their phones out taking videos, and they're all wanting shirts, and see that and all.
That's the Man City fans, wasn't it? Man City fans are all, well done, lads, well done.
I totally get
no joy.
I totally get young guys want to get T-shirts for their favourite players and whatever. Like, I understand that, but for me, football is just totally getting to a way I don't like seeing. See, I would never go to a football game. I know. See, if I was a wee guy, I'd like to think that I wouldn't go to a game just to go and get a guy's shirt. I'm there to watch my team play football. I just think it's signs up. Can I get your shirt? You're this, you're that. Just pay your money, watch the game. If you get a photo with the fan after the players after the game, fair enough. But you see that down south so much, and then they're getting all this at the end of the game. And it's, let's be fair, I like watching Sky F again because the guy Dave lets them all talk, and he butts in when he maybe gets too heated, but he lets them talk. When you go to Sky Sports, Premier Sports are all right sometimes when it's Michael Stewart and that on it. Sometimes that's all right, but it's funny how the BBC now don't have Michael Stewart on it anymore, don't they? Because you know that he talks.
He tells the truth.
He tells you the truth, and I think he says that on his Twitter. I've not been asked back on him ever since I told the truth about certain things. And let's be fair, I've not watched Sports yet. I watched it just because we won. But let's be fair, it's basically Rangers TV. You've got Shirley Kerr on it. You've got Richard Foster, Neil McCann, Mr. Sheeran, aye. You've got Stephen Thompson reporting that. To be fair to Richard Foster's actually all right. He's no bias, but why? I know James McFadden's on it sometimes, but I think he's the only supporting Celtic celebrity or football fan that's on it. I can't remember anybody else who goes on it that's. I'm not saying it's going to be Celtic, but why don't you put a United player on it and then Lassett Murray guy on it? Why is it going to be Rangers TV? One point I want to make before we go, John, I know we spoke about it and all. Get back to the Dortmund game. That was Rangers TV. That wasn't BT. That was Alex Ray and Alan McCoy's creaming in their pants at their team winning. I totally get that they've got to celebrate but you're a pundit. You're there to be balanced, and Alan McCoy's just like, oh, that's a penalty to the Rangers. Like, Ali, you didn't know you're on a national TV. You're promoting a game.
Listen, I can accept McCoy staying that. He's a legend at Rangers, an icon, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's got a player, a manager, coach, whatever. I can accept that for him. I quite like him, right? But see, when I'm saying the product's shite, I don't mean Scottish football shite. I mean the Sky product of the Scottish game, absolutely stinking. As you said, they should change the format because it's absolute shite. They don't care about Scottish football. They only want one game. They only want the 4 games a season, the Glasgow Derby, and that's it. They don't care about any other games. And to be fair, most of us aren't interested in the other games either, because it's totally different quality for the Glasgow Derby.
But obviously, on that, the last fight, what I like to touch on is, I'm actually glad you mentioned that, but the fact that most of the time when there's a full card on during the week, sometimes there's even a game on. For me, I would class the Scottish League as, it's maybe no a top league, but it's a top league in the world, i.e. Celtic Rangers. And not one of them sometimes are even on the TV. So fans are paying their season books. Fans are paying for Sky Sports, Premier Sports, with a lot. Some fans are even going to IPTV. They're going, he's a goal. They're on all these things, and some of them still can't get the game. It's absolute. That's what I don't know if you agree with this, Sean, right? Like I think I spoke to JP about it in another pod. why can obviously Celtic and Rangers might not do it because they might lose money to it, right? But why can there not be an SBFL TV where every club has their own TV channel? Obviously, it's into finances with cameras and whatever else. I don't know if volunteers might be able to do it, right? But you might do a tenner or £50 a month and you get every home and away game. I don't know if they could that be feasible, but instead of having to subscribe to Sky Sports and whatever else, surely if just so you get 3,000 of Bro fans, £3,000, you're going to maybe get 3 million Celtic fans doing that. Think how much money you can make with that with actually just a tenner of, I don't know, even 30 quid tops maybe a month, and you're getting every game streamed, and you can even watch it back, etc. And I don't know what you could do, but I think that's something that could be put in. But obviously, Sky Sports and cash is king when it comes to the bigger clubs.
You could even get to watch like the B team games in the Lowland League, etc. Or maybe you could get the choice of watching another team as well. See if you stayed in fucking Cumbernauld and you can watch Clyde as well. Something like that give you an interest if your team's not playing. Things are going to change. As I said, European leagues, finances, the coverage of the games. It's going to change the next few years. It's developing all the time. When I was a wee boy, you get 2 or 3 games a season on the telly, and that was all.
I just think they're fleecing the fans. Even the Scottish Cup game coming up against United away from home, it's 30 quid, and Celtic are only getting about 2,000 fans or something. Some supported buses are only getting 2 free tickets, and United won't sell. I'd be very surprised if United sell out their stadium. I like to think, like I said to you earlier, if I was a fan of United, St Mirren and Livingston, I know you're paying your season book to go and see your team. Sorry, button. To see your team play. But if you've got guys like Jota, even if you want to talk about Rangers, right, the team across the water, you've got Morelos and Kent, right, these guys who are bigger players in the league, but you've got Jota and Abada. Why would you not do that?
Ryan, you need to excuse my dog. He's making a terrible noise here, man.
Oh, that's all right. But that's if I was a fan, that's what I would like to go and watch these guys play football. So surely that should be a full crowd to go and see their team play in a fucking cup game, which could get them into Hampden.
I've said to you for years, for example, Clyde again, right? They should be fucking getting Ori tickets out to local boys' clubs and schools and filling their stadium. Filling it. And the kids will end up, they'll buy a scarf, they'll buy a pie, they'll buy a juice. You know, kids are, when I used to take you want a juice and a pie or crisps or whatever. You're going to, every single person that goes to that game will be spending money. How can you know? These whoever, these smaller clubs, fill your stadium. So I'm sure the players will enjoy the experience better. The fans will enjoy it better. It's a win-win, but things will need to change.
Well, see, if we're talking to like Hibs and St Mirren, right, that might not be a full crowd, but see if you put it to maybe I don't know, £17 a ticket or £15 a ticket for adults, maybe a £5 for a kid, or the kid comes free with an adult, you might get more guys coming to the game, because that's how I think that. I understand financially some people can't afford to go to every game. Obviously, the way the world is, everything's going up in price. Whatever's happened in the other side of the world, a lot of other things are happening, which is not really good. So that could make prices even bigger. But I just think that, see, if you are going to a game, as you say, you're going to spend money. So counteract that with your pricing. If you're going to have, just say, St Mirren Hibs, right, adult £15, the adult's going to buy his kid probably a pie, sweeties, a juice, or maybe a scarf, I don't know, right? It's going to maybe spend about 15 quid at the game. The dad might get a pint, the dad's paying his petrol, so it all includes into the price for me, and I just think they've got to look at certain ways where they can maybe combat that. There's a comment for Stephen, very true, mate, the coverage for Sky is piss poor. BT were okay. Celtic do have obviously the option where you pay the games if you can't get them for the home games. And he says obviously Johnny Winnie might a Netflix and an Amazon sub-service. I think some fans would agree with that as well, Stephen, that if your club has got an SPFL channel, that if you've got a chance to watch your games, maybe pay 15 quid, and you've not got a season book and you can't get to go to games, the second best thing is to watch the games. But if you can watch them every game streaming, and it's not a dodgy box, it's not a shitty stream, you're going to get all the highlights, the analytics, everything. I think fans would do it, and they'll actually maybe save money as well, no going to games and pay money, because they can do that for the house.
See, you're talking about maybe reducing the ticket pricing. I don't think you legally can do that because you've sold season books. You can't, once you've paid the price, once you've charged for the season book, I don't think you can give a reduced price. I don't think you can. Which is wrong, I suppose. You buy a season book at the start of the season, and that's your money away, isn't it? You're committed to spending 600 quid to go and watch 22 games, whatever. So it shouldn't matter. The club's got your money, so they should be able to just go, oh, look, there's 3,000 school kids. We'll charge a £5 if a parent brings a child for nothing, whatever. It's definitely ideas there to bring more people, kids into the stadiums. Because there's nothing. There's a lot. You know yourself. Example, right? All these English clubs, they've not got fucking fans. They've got fucking fans that sit on the couch and watch the telly that have never been to a game. That's right. They've never been to a game. There's nothing beats going to a game, as you well know. I know financially it's difficult. You might stay far away. You've not got the finances. I understand that. But these fucking BAM fans down south, man, what I like this. I was maybe we call one of the biggest derbies in the world today, and there was absolutely no atmosphere at it. Absolute shite. Honking.
But that's what I'm saying. People might slag maybe your game might not be the best of quality, but the rivalry of Celtic and Rangers, the Glasgow derby, you don't get it anywhere else. It's pure hatred. It's just an absolute. It's just hatred and the religion and everything in the one. And obviously we don't stay in Manchester. We don't know what it's like on the streets. We don't know what it's like in the pubs. But when it comes to the park, as soon as Celtic Rangers kick off, it's boom. It's just total. You can't hear anybody say anything on the park. It's just total. Players look nervous. For me, if I was watching Sky Sports News or Sky Sports in the game Celtic beat Rangers at Parkhead recently 3-0, and I was an English fan, I would be, wow, if this is what a derby should be like. 60,000 fans singing for as soon as you enter the stadium to as soon as they get away, the people might have a wee dig about the disco lights, which by the way was actually implemented by UEFA and FIFA. That had to happen. That wasn't because you Celtic wanted to be fancy. That had to happen. It just looked it looked like a derby. It looked like a fucking big game. Down there, it just looks like a friendly. It's just
right.
In comparison.
Man City scored their third and fourth goal, and there was major sections in the stands. They're all just sitting, just watching, not even clapping, just sitting, just fucking plastic, mate. Absolute plastic.
It is. But again, John, obviously on us. The last opinions, obviously the game, and obviously going forward. The
game of the day, absolutely fantastic. As I say, it's all about getting the 3 points in the line and gradually ticking them off one by one. When's the next Glasgow derby? Many weeks.
3rd of April.
3rd of April. Is that a Sunday game?
Aye,
early kick-off. That's a biggie, isn't it? As long as you get maximum points up to that, and then that'll take care of itself. But I'm quietly confident that they're going to do it, to be honest. I just think we're stronger in most departments in them. They all seem to be together, don't they? Celtic look a right tight squad. All fighting for each other. I'm positive, Ryan.
I think there's a feel good factor about the club again.
Aye.
Obviously, for me, I was a bit critical of week when I says that it's a wee bit flat, and if we do lose the league, for me I would give the manager a bit of sympathy, obviously because of how he came in. but you can't really, for me, a club like Celtic or the team across the water, you can't go tap and then be second. Once you're tap, you need to stay tap. And for me, I think we will. I can't see he's dropping too many points. Like Mr. Hugh Stevens says, again, I respect you. He's been really good in the media for a long, long time. But for him to say before the winter break, Rangers when he dropped points when he get beat, it's totally thrown that out of the water. But again, I'm with you, John. Obviously, hopefully get to the final of the Scottish Cup and see where it takes in the league. But again, John, thanks for your time and hail, hail. Take care.
No danger. Hell, hell, right.